Hello and welcome to Tab Talks 2. I'm here with three members of the cast of Joseph K, their forthcoming production. I'm here with Kat, Tony and Matthew. And if you'd like to just go along and tell me what parts you're playing.
So I'm playing three parts.
Wow.
I know, I'm surprised too. I'm playing Wendy, I'm playing Lenny, and I am playing Yvette.
Excellent, thank you.
So I have four roles. So I'm playing Gabriel Clark, or Grub, Colin Block, Mark is the Latin teacher, and Dan, the customer complaints officer.
Matthew.
And I am also playing four people. I'm playing Ian Hold, an Oxbridge solicitor. I'm playing Mason, who works for the ICSP. I'm playing a character called Bear, who is a lunatic glass fitter, and a handyman at the end called David.
Wow, okay, so there seems to be quite a lot of, have you doubled up the roles, or is it supposed to be a cast of lots of people?
Well, the original cast is actually a cast of four, but because Joe had such a great influx of auditionees, we've actually got a cast of seven.
Wow,
So
okay.
yeah, so it is meant to, the part of the script as well as Joseph K is supposed to be losing his mind, so every time he meets someone new, they look like someone he's already met, so he thinks he's going around a twist.
So very John Godber-esque in terms of one person playing 6 or 7 characters throughout.
It's
Yeah.
sort of in different scenes, in like vignettes, as it were. But yeah, it is a bit like that. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So, Kat, tell me about the process. What's the audition process, the rehearsal process been like for you?
It's been really good. I mean, I've worked with Joe, the director, before, and I've worked with most of the guys before as well, either directing me or working alongside on stage. So it's been really nice and really enjoyable. There's some incredibly talented people, which puts the pressure on, but it's been really good fun. I find Tab is just a really great group. It's nice to have some new members in as well.
Excellent.
This time, so yeah, it's been good.
There's obviously some not so talented people as well to help even out the balance.
Well, exactly,
Yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
important to have that balance.
And we won't say names. We won't say names.
No.
You know. So, have there been any dramas in the rehearsal process at all? Any sort of gossip that you can give our viewers?
The only,
I'm looking at you specifically, Tony.
yeah, no, the only, it wasn't even really a drama, but we did have an extra rehearsal the week of Christmas, which is probably the worst week to do that with everyone's so busy, where Jo, in her infinite wisdom, decided that 3 of the cast members would do a dance routine.
Wow.
And that's fine with one of said members who can dance, but the other 2 unfortunately cannot keep time, and so that was a very trying rehearsal.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think so.
It's been pretty chilled. I mean, it's still all could go wrong, so you know.
Well, let's be optimistic.
But you know, so far
Exactly.
it's been a relatively enjoyable experience.
So Matthew, this has been Tab's 3rd or 4th production by Tom Basden.
I think.
3rd.
Yeah.
What makes Tom Basden so relatable or so easy to work with as a writer?
I like the other ones they've done here. I thought Holes was really good, but this one's a lot more sort of non-linear, isn't it? It's a bit more avant-garde than the last. They were quite out there, but this has been quite challenging, I would say, to kind of get your head round. It's been harder than usual because sort of more straightforward plays, they do eventually go into your brain, but the lines have been...
He's very good at range, isn't he, Tom Basden?
Yeah, the characters are all completely and utterly different.
Yeah, I think
So that's been quite difficult.
I did read somewhere that he does a sort of 4 to 5 page character assessment on each character before they even hit the page. He's got their entire backstory covered,
Yeah.
which is wonderful. How excited are you for the performance itself, Kat?
Yeah, really excited. I think it's going to challenge the audience of Great Bado.
Will they be able to keep up?
100% they will.
Yeah.
100%.
Considering the slightly elder demographic of the...
We've accounted for that, that's fine. We've added some kind of our own...
I get my legs out on the last one.
Yeah.
You get your legs out,
And
Wonderful.
It's
Okay.
mine, yeah, shorts.
So,
Well, if that doesn't
Yeah.
sell it, nothing else
there
will.
you go.
So you're building the set today, and it seems to be quite a minimalistic looking set. Do you think that would that's beneficial to sort of help
Yeah.
show the playoff for really what it is?
Because it moves quite quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you don't have to be, it moves around different locations
And we do also have a cast member who is going to be, 6 months later, walking around with cards on. So that will be quite clearly laid out. But it's also really to just highlight the performances as to why it's minimalistic.
Have you found that the more minimalistic and the less bogged down you get in in the building of a set, that it actually really talent will out, as it were, during the performance? I think it gives the audience more to grab onto. Do you agree with that at all?
Yeah, it does. I think it gives you a chance to be a bit more physical and make the most of the space that's there as well, which has kind of been something we've all kind of been, working on. So yeah, it kind of puts you at the forefront.
I'm glad you brought that up because you don't get an opportunity to see the space until very late in the rehearsal period.
Yeah.
You start somewhere smaller, is that right?
Yeah, in the reading rooms just up the road, which is a really nice space to rehearse in. But yeah, you're quite right. Once you get into the hall and after you've been in there for 6 weeks, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
we start rehearsing here in the parish hall, then it can be quite, because sometimes the demands of a set or whatever can dictate how much space you now have, and I think we found that a lot in the last one, wasn't it? That you were all involved in Flare Path, it was excellent. And yeah, but the difference between being in there and being in there was quite a big transition, and there was issues with set and stuff. It had to be a different size and a different layout and that. So to ask actors to kind of acclimatise to that after such a long time being in a different space is quite hard. So in this instance, I think having a very minimalist set is a lot more liberating, I suppose, because you can work with the space a bit more, and because of the nature of the play, I think you can take a few more risks and things can change a little bit each night, which I think is also really good. Some stage directions are very prescriptive and.
So sort of going down the line here, and obviously we want to try and build the membership base up for Theatre at Barrow, or for any theatre group really.
No, just her.
Just specifically TAB. Kat, how would you encourage people to get involved with Theatre at Barrow if you obviously live in the local area? But having said that, you've got a cast member who lives in London. Is that correct? You said she was coming, works in London. Apologies. Okay. We'll sort that out in post. So Kat, how do you think? What's the easiest way for people to go about getting involved in Theatre at Barrow?
Well, first off, just to reach out to us, and then also, whilst you do see obviously the actors on stage, there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes, be it with sound, lighting, the set, the front of house. There's so many different ways to get involved, which I think is really nice. So you don't have to get on stage and make an ass out of yourself.
And
You can hide around the back. So that's great, and it's a great way to kind of meet people and
Those guys are the sort of unsung heroes, aren't they? Without sound, lighting, techie crew, stage management, you haven't got a play.
No, exactly.
So God bless them. Tony, how do you think people could go about, reaching out to Theatre at Barrow?
Well, we are very proactive on social media, so both Instagram and the Facebook page. Interesting enough, one of our cast members in this production, she had a friend that was in the last production.
Okay.
And that was Rhiannon's first show. So this is Victoria's first show. And Rhiannon joined us after seeing the main production of Sending No Flowers. So, and it was...
Which I was in.
And me.
And they were very good. They were very good. So either by, checking out our website essentially, but there's always someone around. So if you were to come to one of the performances, there's always someone you can talk to in order to find out when the next auditions are on or the next read through, etc., etc. So we also do summer readings as well, which is a good way to come in, meet a load of members, just sit there and read out loud a potential play that will be put forward. So that's another good way of getting in.
Matt, how do you think people could go about reaching out to theatre about it?
I think, the social media presence is a lot more prevalent now, or it wasn't quite so much before, and I think that's been really useful. But it's such a friendly group, and I've made excellent lifelong friends that I've met here and had so much fun. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, come out and enjoy theatre again, because it's been, since COVID, it has, audiences have dipped off a bit for that reason, I think. And everyone works so hard on putting these shows on, and we've all got busy lives and stuff, but you can slot theatre in there. You have a lot of other commitments.
That can be quite daunting as well, and quite deflating when we've all worked together in some capacity in the past, and when you know that you've put 3 to 4, maybe sometimes 5 months worth of rehearsal, 3 nights a week, 2 nights a week, and you get to sort of the Saturday night, which you think is going to be the buzzer, and you're playing to an audience of 14, that can be really, really upsetting sometimes. So
that doesn't happen often.
No. Only when I'm into it. But one thing I have noticed is the chat is very, very good for bringing people in. So in terms of, you aren't a group of actors or crew that just, right, curtains down, everyone out, and see you later. You've actually got a bar area, a tea and coffee area, and the actors come out and chat because they want to see relatives and friends that have come to see it. And would you recommend people coming up and talking to you afterwards, and don't get scared to come out and chat with you?
Come over and talk to us when the show's finished.
I've got to say as well, I mean, I've been part of other groups as well. I've never had this before, where I've come out of the dressing area and I've had people greet me, or just greet me and shaking my hand.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And you don't like being touched?
No. So it's a really friendly audience as well. So but by all means, please come and tell us how brilliant it was.
But that's a good opportunity for you guys to then tell them about the group and give them a flyer, and there's a board up that shows photos of previous productions. This is what you guys can, don't think you can't do it, we'll be the judge of that.
So we're also starting with this production, we've also got flyers out for upcoming, which Tab's not done before. So the whole of 2023's productions are readily available with all the information on there, like auditions and
so people could pick and choose, okay, we don't fancy the May production, but we'll certainly give the October one a go.
Or they can put all of them in their calendar in advance.
Yeah, well, that's if they're coming to see them,
There's some really exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, just give us Matthew, just give us a slight glimpse into what's coming up. Don't give too much away, because we'll come and see.
So Hindle Wakes is the next show that Pauline's directing, who started the group 40 years ago, which is like a comedy comedy drama, isn't it? Set up north. Which
Sold.
no, but it was a very famous film as well.
But speaking of famous films, you've got the third production.
Yes, and the one that I will be directing with Jane Hunt that will be in October, but we'll be starting sort of after the May show, which is Ben-Hur, the Bible epic. Yes, and it is as mental as it sounds.
Excellent.
But that is going to be great, and we're going to need a lot of people who don't necessarily want to act or.
But you're going to need lots of crew on standby. It's going to be very prop heavy, I assume.
Incredibly prop heavy. Which is that would be an excellent one to, if you're not quite sure about where you want to be in the theatre or you want to do something different.
Sure.
That's a good one to start with.
Okay, so we're looking at sort of wrapping things up now, but before we go, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Do one of you want to tell us what the next production is, when it's on, and how can you get tickets to come and see it?
Well, I know about this production. Oh, brilliant. So it is on from the 25th to 28th of January. Starts at 8 o'clock. You can get tickets on Skiddle if you go to our social media, Skiddle if you go to our social media pages, or you can just come in on the night as well. Please book in advance if you can, and
Tickets will sell like hotcakes.
they will sell
And will there be a link to the website at the
Yes.
bottom of this post?
There will be.
Just
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
there. If we could all do that, it's all down.
Yeah.
Excellent, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you, John.
Yes, this has been Tab Talks 2. I've been John Maybe, and I've been with Matthew Jones, Tony O'Ellis, and Kat Taylor. Thank you.